Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Slow Flowers Show. I'm Deborah Prinzing, and I'm so excited today to introduce Niki Irving of Flourish Flower Farm, based in Asheville, North Carolina. Hi, Niki.
Hey, Deborah. Thanks so much for having me back on the podcast.
You bet. It is true to say welcome back. I just looked up your most recent appearance was 5 years ago in 2021. We all think COVID was just yesterday, but guess what? We've moved on. So I'm thrilled that you're back. And I think the other time you were on, I was maybe doing my state by state emphasis. And so wasn't even a full podcast. So lots to catch up on. And I will just say, why was Niki Irving on the Slow Flowers podcast in 2021? Because she had just published Growing Flowers, her beautiful book. Everything you need to know about planting, tending, harvesting, and arranging beautiful blooms. And I'm really honored that you asked me to write the foreword. This is such a great book. How is it going? Are you still teaching workshops and selling the book? And what's happening with it?
Yes. So I know I still love reading your foreword, and it meant so much to me that you agreed to write that.
Oh my gosh, what a treat.
Yeah, so it's going great. I actually came out with a re-edition of the book in early 20. No, it was last year, actually. I was
Oh,
like
I
going
think
to
I
say
saw that.
2025, and I realized that
Yeah.
was just last year. So, yeah, I just like updated the photos, and most of the text is still the same, but it was just fun to give it a little refresh, a new cover, and it's going well. It's still a little bit surreal to have that book out in the world.
Yeah, well, send me the cover art and I'll add it to our
Mhm.
show notes. I probably can find it, but if you think of it, the photography is so great. And I just have to say, all your photography is it's so lovely but consistent. Like, who's doing the photography for you, or do you work with a number of photographers?
So it's mostly me, and what I share, me and my little iPhone.
No way.
I do have a handful of photographers, mostly who'll come and like photograph our workshops. I try to get someone out at least once a year to update um, a few shots on like the website or to share in our newsletter. So, but it's a mix, and I just love color, and I think that I consistently share color. I've actually been accused of being very much in like the pink peach lane.
Hey, that's a good lane to be in.
I
I
even
love it.
tell like new growers, if you're in doubt about like what color variety to plant, you can't go wrong with pink and peach.
I love it. That's so funny. But do you grow darker colors? Do you grow burgundies and plums and purples? I'm sure you need them for wedding recipes.
A
Mhm.
little bit, but honestly, not that much. Like I used to grow tons of burgundy dahlias, and for the amount that I grew, I could triple my sales every week. And I actually cut them out last year because they just weren't selling. I am seeing a little bit of a resurgence of people wanting some darker colors. But honestly, I don't grow that many dark colors
Yeah.
because whether it's what we've become known for or it's, I think everyone wants bright and cheery things right now.
Well, it's an antidote not only to dark, which some people see as only available for designers to use in the autumn, but also for the blush that we got so tired of for the last decade. This is like a warmer blush, a livelier blush that blends with all the spectrum that you're talking about, peach to coral even.
Yes. Yeah, coral is really, really in right now.
Well, it's not just the color though in the photography. I will just say, there's something about the light where you live, or the way you use the golden hour or sunrise. You really have a good eye, Niki, for the sense of place. And let's talk a little bit about where is Flourish Farm, if people don't know. You know, what makes it unique and special being in Asheville? It's a beautiful place on the planet anyway.
Thank you. One of these days, I'll get you out to
I
our farm.
I know for sure I need to.
Yes. So we are in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're in the western part of the state. And so we have lots of forests and rivers, and my farm itself is situated on top of a really big hill. And we have some long range mountain views, which, I always try to get those little bit of the mountains in the back of the
Yeah,
pictures.
that borrowed view, you're showing that off. I love that.
I love it, and it's even I updated my logo probably about 7 years now, years ago, and I had the artist, she kind of drew in, the profile of the mountains that I can see out my window, and so that's really a big it's a big part of the brand. It's the view that I look at while I'm planting and harvesting, and, it's just kind of being a seasonally inspired design business and working with other florists who use seasonal flowers. It is that sense of place of
Yeah,
like, this is where it all comes from. And
yeah.
yeah,
And I was just going to mention that Asheville is on the map for a wedding destination, hub around, around especially the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, are you getting a lot of local couples, or do you get a lot of people traveling? What
yeah.
impressions do you have of like the vibe about weddings in Asheville?
I would say most of our clients are not local. It's
Wow.
one or two a year will be local, and I'm always really excited when I actually have a local, local couple, but most everyone are coming in all over, but, Atlanta, Florida, Charlotte, this year I have someone from Brooklyn. There's so many beautiful wedding venues because
Yeah.
it's just a very naturally beautiful area, and so a lot of the venues really kinda highlight that, that mountain elegance, and, I think that we fit really well with that, and it's yeah, a huge destination wedding area.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Now, tell me about what you're up against with the natural disasters of Asheville, because I
Mhm.
feel like you're still recovering from the most recent one. And my heart went out to everyone who was hurt by, was it a hurricane
Yeah.
that caused, okay. And what was that, 2 years ago?
It was in September, it'll be 2 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
honey.
we're very much still recovering. There's a lot of areas where, especially, anywhere low-lying and where the rivers are alongside of it, like, we had a very vibrant river arts community, and artists not only lost all their work, but the buildings are gone, and because it's in a floodplain,
Right.
it's really hard to figure out how to rebuild,
And,
but
kind of and protect from future
exactly.
disasters. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I grew up, as you know, on the coast of South Carolina on the beach, and we lost our home, when I was in elementary school to a hurricane.
Oh,
And
goodness.
so my family for years, I've been in Asheville about 20 years, would come here to evacuate from hurricanes. And my parents actually came up here after Hurricane Helene to bring us supplies. So it was a very strange, like, I thought that we were protected from hurricanes in the mountains, but it was literally a perfect storm, just
I'm
so
so
much water,
sorry.
and the economy here is recovering. It's definitely slower. I think that our local tourism board is doing an excellent job of getting the word out that Asheville is open, but, the rebuilding is slow, and I think we're shifting a little bit from a primarily, like, tourist-based economy to a little bit more like retirement style community, and it will be interesting to see how that impacts my
Mhm.
business. I'm certainly feeling it with weddings being a little slower than normal, but, workshops are still popular, and just, like with everyone, try to
Yeah.
pivot and keep moving along.
Yeah, and, good luck with that. And I do think I just from afar saw so much support in the flower farming community for each other. And your farm was, like you said, in the hills. You maybe didn't have the flooding that some people were hit.
Mhm.
And I just saw a lot of mutual caring and sharing. And that's it's hard when you love a place like the coast of South Carolina or the mountains of North Carolina, and you can't just pick up and leave because your heart is there. You're rooted there, and people just, I guess, learn to cope with roll with it kind of thing,
Right.
and your clients come because they love the place. So
That's right.
you mentioned workshops, and I really couldn't believe how many you have on offer at Flourish Farm. Flourish Flower Farm really is an education center. I feel like that's your calling. And, I would love to have you talk a little bit about when did it dawn on you, like, wait, I'm an educator. I'm not just a flower farmer, not just meaning that that's a negative, but like that is a full-time job on top of everything. How did you, when was your first workshop you ever taught on the farm?
I think I taught my first workshop my second year in business. So like 10 years
I love
ago, 10,
it. Oh
11
my
years
gosh.
ago. And it really started because people kept asking, can I come visit the farm? And I said no. At that time, I was operating on leased land. I didn't even have a potty. I had, no electricity. I didn't have any infrastructure.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, people are asking for this. I can't just let people pop in and visit. I need them to be comfortable and provide, an experience where I can actually give them my full attention. So I just came up with workshops, and I was reflecting earlier this year that the format really hasn't changed that much over the years, but the content has. So I've moved to the farm 3 times since I started.
In your decade? And wow. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first met you and you first joined Soul Flowers, you were leasing land.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you actually buy your farm that you are at now?
7 years ago.
Okay.
Yep. So we've been here 7 years, and this is it. I'm not moving it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Since we're talking about workshops, I thought I would pull up the workshop tab on Flourish Flower Farm website just to show the diversity. And I'll just tab through here and maybe you can talk specifically about some of the offerings. Each workshop we host is crafted to help you slow down and enjoy the season right where it is. From the shifting colors in the fields to the abundance of blooms in the studio, there's always something new to learn and appreciate. Our workshops are relaxed, welcoming, and thoughtfully guided, a blend of education, creativity, and the simple pleasure of being surrounded by beauty. We hope you'll join us for one of these special days on the farm. So you're obviously in the hospitality business. And when I scroll down here, you have on the flower farm workshops. That's sort of your main kind of consistent workshop, I think. Is that right?
It is. Yep.
And then some of these you drill down a little more specifically, designing with the seasons. I saw that was already sold out. Floral design essentials. We're going to talk about that. Flower farming 101. That looks like a real deep dive. And then on top of that, consulting and private sessions. So maybe we'll just look at on the flower farm workshops first, and maybe you can walk us through that. It looks like you've got sort of a nice, gorgeous photos showing people doing all kinds of fun things, and then kind of what's included in that.
Yes. So we start off, and I should say all our workshops are really small groups. And, even though they sell out quickly, it's not, we're not mass producing them. It's because there's only a certain amount of people that fit on my porch of my house, and that's where we host them. And I like to get to know everyone and be able to talk to everyone. So it's maximum 15 participants. But we start off with a farm tour, and each kind of season we have a different flower focus. And so on the flower farm in April, we focus on ranunculus, how to grow them. We design with them. In May, of course, is peonies. And then September, we focus on dahlias. And we tour the whole farm, but we do spend a little bit more time about each of those flowers. And then after we farm tour, we have some lovely catered snacks. I'll do a demo of designing a kind of an event style centerpiece. And then everyone gets to, like that photo on the right there, everyone just gets to create their own. We have a huge like array of flowers already harvested, but we also let people go out in the fields, and if there's something that they see that's calling to them, they can go and snip it. So
Wow,
we
that's
really try
neat.
to make it like an abundant experience. Like, it's not very often that I'll say regular, like non-flower farmers or florists have access to any amount of flowers that they want to play with. And
Right.
it's cool, really cool to get to facilitate that.
And,
Um,
that's interesting that you talk about the experience of this workshop being, like, immersed in flowers, but also, a floral lifestyle. You're showing people this is possible if you grow flowers yourself. You maybe not have the selection that Flourish has, but there's something they probably go home buying your book because they wanna try growing ranunculus or peonies or something like that. Um, it is very personalized, and we just see, on here, it's $260, but it's like a half-day workshop. Oh, 3-hour workshop,
it's
right.
3 out. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really pack it in, and, I haven't increased the prices in a couple years, even though, cost of everything has gone up. I want it to be accessible, but it is a treat yourself experience,
Mhm.
and we get a
Mhm.
lot of repeat guests, and that really is so meaningful to me
I
that
love that.
people return, they're like, "Well, next time I'm gonna bring my mom, or I'll bring my sister,"
I love that, and I
or
love that if people see the whole calendar for the year, they might wanna try all 3
Mhm.
varieties that you're highlighting. It's it's, it looks like some of them are, like, 2 weeks apart or back to back. Those that May 15th and 16th must have been brutal to
It
teach 2
was
back to back.
it was a lot, but, we mow the grass, we get the farm looking tidy, we bring out the tables and chairs, and so it's kind of like when we're in that mindset, we're hosting, and
Yeah,
I really do love hosting, and, like, the farm is my home, the workshop porch is right outside my living room. Even though people don't come in my house, I think they have this sense of like, "Oh, I'm at Niki's home," and
right.
they can check out, like, the gardens and meet my dogs, and it is a very, like, it's a truly, like, they get the whole Flourish experience. They feel like
Yeah.
they're part of the family.
Yeah, let's look at designing with the seasons too, because I saw that was, perhaps it seems like it was sold out maybe, or
Mhm.
do you do this more than once a year?
We do. So this one is
Okay,
actually new this year because we've had a lot of repeat guests who w- wanted to kind of come back and do the design portion. They love being on the farm but don't necessarily want the full farm tour.
oh, I see, so this is like a mini version of
Mhm.
the other workshop.
Exactly. So
Okay,
it's the other workshop minus the farm tour. So
okay.
it's really for people who are, they want to be around the flowers. They're not maybe not as interested in growing them, but they still want to do some design work.
Well, I love that, and I'm gonna go on to floral design essentials too, because that's, again, very design forward, and this is the one that you said is, you're opening up registration very soon for this September workshop, right?
Correct. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. There's that famous porch right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like I don't know. Was the house already there when you guys moved there, or did you build the house?
The house was here. It needed some love, so we did a pretty big renovation, but the porches were there, and
Okay.
the porch wraps around like 50% of the house, and everywhere. This is a cloudy morning in that photo, but there's views of the mountains and it overlooks the flower field. So it when we were looking for a place to live and saw the porch, it was like it was meant to be.
It's so in alignment with your, like you said, your kind of relational way of teaching, that you do make things intimate and inclusive and, uh, kind of customized to a small
Mhm.
group. So that's what this is like a deep dive into design with hand-tied bouquets, large scale arrangement, and foam-free installation.
Mhm.
Okay, right?
It's a full day,
Okay.
and we, have a professional photographer who comes and takes photos of not only the experience, but everyone's work individually so that they can start building their portfolios. So I just created this with, kind of aspiring designers in mind, but we still always get people who are just like they're coming because they want to learn something new, which I think is really cool, or they love flowers and just want to spend a day really immersed in all
Yeah.
things flowers.
Yeah. It's great that they're learning new techniques because people probably come with questions. And as a group, sometimes that problem solving happens in a really creative way when there's 6 people working on, you know, an installation or an arch or an arbor. So uh, I totally feel like you're giving them all, but they're getting from each other too.
Absolutely. Yes, there's
Yeah.
so much and people can get personal feedback. To me, there's nothing like learning in person, especially with something as like tactile as design, that I
Yeah.
can say, "Hey, move this stem here. This is why we add flowers into a hand-tied bouquet and this, this order because I try to give a reason for everything rather
Yes.
than just like because it looks pretty."
I think that is so important. I can't compliment you enough. I've seen some really famous rock star florists teach workshops where they just haven't thought through how to explain what they're doing, or they just are, maybe they're shy. I don't know, but they don't even want to talk when they're designing. I was at a workshop where there was very famous designer wanted to play classical music for us to like meditate while we watched her design, which was kind of sweet, but we didn't really learn
Right.
the concept of what she was doing. So,
Yes.
Flower Farming 101 workshop, it just, I'm going to move on to this one. This is also probably in alignment with all a response to all the questions you get about what you do from aspiring flower farmers. Is that what inspired you starting this workshop?
Yes. And again, I know there's tons of online flower farming courses that have so much helpful information,
Yeah.
maybe because I'm such a visual and relational person,
Yeah.
but to see a working flower farm, like here's the equipment that I use to prep my fields. These are the trays that I use. Here's how I organize everything. I really just wanted to create it so that I could help people not make all the mistakes that I did and honestly waste a lot of money. This is an investment, but I have past participants who I text with almost every week. Like, so the cool thing is even though they spend 2 days here, like I continue to be their mentor because
Yeah.
I want them to succeed.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that it says 850 here, but that's a deposit. It is a 1850 for 2 full days.
Mhm.
Um I love seeing you've touched on everything that people are going to get from that investment. They do feel like it's one-on-one because you're there, not just you, but your staff, and you limit this to 12 people. So it's then almost like a cohort comes together from, the session that you have. People become, I don't know, peers and friends and help each other as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Are you only doing this once a year? Oh, I see. You had a spring date
We
and a
do.
fall date.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, yep. So we have I can't even remember. I think the fall date is in early
Yeah,
October.
it's October 9th and 10th. I see it on
Mhm.
here. Yeah.
That
So
helps people kind of plan, like, do you wanna get a jump start? Like, if you come in the spring, we can help you get set up, um, to grow that season or whenever you wanna start, really, but I feel like a lot of people leave in the spring ready to kinda get started in the summer,
right.
and then from the fall session, particularly, like, those of us in southern climates, fall planting is really, really important. So, we're kinda helping people get ready for everything they need for the next season.
Right. It probably just, depends on where people are at in like just the land and the spacing and like, or working a full-time job and thinking maybe they're going to do this as their side hustle. All there's always a good time to start a flower farm. It could be spring or it could be fall, and you're just trying to
Yep.
help them succeed. I
Yes.
Before we move on, I want to just focus on consulting and private sessions because this is, I think, a wonderful offering that people should consider adding to their businesses because it is it gives you confidence to tailor your education to the specific needs of that customer. And how is that? Did you add this later after you'd done the workshops, or how did this come together?
So I added the private sessions really early because, again, people wanted to come visit. Maybe like early on, I wasn't doing as many workshops. So this was a way to give them that experience. Most people wanted to just pick flowers and create an arrangement. And
Oh,
so,
so it was more of a design experience at
mhm.
first.
And then
Okay.
over the years, I've added the consulting. So, and it truly is anything. I've had people who've attended Floral Design Essentials, which is very much like the design aspect. And then they
Mhm.
go home and they realize, I want to know how to create recipes and I want to get set up for doing weddings. Can you help me do that? And so, I've created a lot of like templates and we can go through like what their goals are. I've done virtual floral design sessions, actually worked with two gals from all the way across the country who are just like, we like your style, but we can't travel to North Carolina for
Oh, I
and
love that.
so it's really fun just to meet people where they are and figure out how to help them. I mean,
Yeah.
I
It's
think
part of
it's
your mission. It's part of who you are as a business as well.
great.
So, Nikki, the education I feel like it's always been with you, because before you started flower farming, weren't you teaching or working with outdoor education?
I was, yes. So it was a program similar to Outward Bound. I actually worked for Outward Bound for a little while, but for 10 years before I became a flower farmer, I taught people how to backpack and rock climb. And
I remember that. That's
yes,
great.
and I spent a lot of time in your neck of the woods. I just miss the Pacific Northwest in the summer. There's nothing more magical, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. We need to
Um,
get you to do a wedding out here or a wedding
yes,
workshop.
yes.
So, but
So
that teaching spirit that you have, it's just a natural for you.
I think so. I'm not a trained teacher, but I certainly have a lot of experience. And even though packing a backpack is different than designing a bouquet, like there is a process. And I'm all about a process and a system and
Yeah.
making things efficient. And so by me breaking down how I do something, I'm able to teach my staff how to do that. And then I can teach, workshop guests.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I loved working with teenagers, but it is really fun. I work with a lot of women now and hearing their dreams, and it's cool I
Yeah.
get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It feels really special.
I love that.
Mhm.
Well, that makes me want to just comment on a couple things that I'm observing. One is that you seem to have an equal number of people wanting to become flower farmers or wedding florists or farmer florists. So the professionally oriented student, but also maybe equally the flower lover, the
Mhm.
gardener, the person who wants a floral lifestyle. The workshops seem to touch both of those populations. How do you handle it when there's kind of a mashup of both in the same workshop? Because you do kind of try to segment it so that people self-select into the right class, right?
Yeah, yeah. Every workshop I host, I start off by like we go around and introduce ourselves, even if it's really quickly. So I get a snapshot of what they want to get out of the experience. And so if someone is there just to have a great time, I may ask them more questions about their family, their garden, like, everyone has some connection to
Yes.
flowers. Like,
Yes.
and so, or if they're starting a farm business or a design business, like, I can ask questions about how it's going and how this fits in. And I also learn if people want more specific feedback about their design, because some people don't. They just want to put flowers in a vase and have fun. And that's
Oh,
great.
they don't need the Nikki critique. They just need
No,
encouragement.
no.
Yeah.
And then I'll have people who are like, I want you to tell me. You can't hurt my feelings.
Oh, yeah. And that part of that is also just being tuned into who people are, and that's that communication that you're talking about. Um, That's really sweet. I love that. I also want to comment too that when you have your staff involved, like you're also mentoring your staff. So,
Mhm.
how do you staff up for the season, and who works for you?
Yeah. I'm so lucky. I feel like I've always had the most wonderful staff, and, right now I have a team of folks who have one of them, she's been with me for 5 years. She was like a home gardener, but I've taught her everything, and now she can help design elopements. She helps with the newsletter. I mean, she's downstairs starting seeds.
What's her name?
Her name is Jamie.
Okay, Jamie. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
she's
letting Nikki come talk to me.
And then I think every once in a while I'll like put something out on Instagram and or in our newsletter that we're hiring. Everyone is very part-time, so I
Okay.
know that people aren't really gonna pay their bills from this job, so I try to be really flexible. So I have a graphic designer who only works Friday mornings, but it's her second season here, and she just jumps right in every week. And then I have a good friend who she's actually a clothing designer and just needed a little extra income. And she's always been like a flower lover and reached out and said, "Hey, do you need help?" And it was right around the time when another of my employees, she's having help with her mother who is not in very good health. And so
Yeah.
I feel I used to really stress about help, but I feel like the right people
Yeah.
find their way here. And we also started doing weeding Wednesdays last year and having volunteers come in on the farm, and it's so fun. We just spend a couple hours like weeding and chatting, and they get stuff done. So I
And what
have
do you pay them? Your thanks is a buckets of flowers to go home with them?
yes, flowers, and then they can also work towards like workshop registration if they want to do that.
Wow, I love that. But
Yeah.
think about it, the people you've mentioned, a clothing designer, a graphic designer, the creative people are finding their way too because
Mhm.
you are a design forward business.
Yeah.
Um, so that makes sense. And I've always seen that those skills translate to
Yeah.
floristry,
Yeah.
in terms of color theory or principles of design. So it's no wonder that those folks are finding their way to you.
Right.
I'm curious about your design path when, with your background in outdoor education, and then coming to Asheville and starting this flower farm. Where did the design come from? Did you study art, or like how did this all kind of become a full package for you, with you growing first and then adding design quickly thereafter?
Such a great question. I never really thought of myself as like an artistic person. It's in my family. So my mom studied art, her sisters, my grandmother was a beautiful painter.
Mm.
And my mom, now that she's mostly retired, is paints all the time, and they do a lot of landscapes. And I would try painting, and it was not my thing. Um, and so when I started the farm, I was like, I'm just going to be a flower farmer, but making bouquets for grocery stores. And you start to get to know the flowers really well, and people started asking about design. So I went and I took workshops. I invested in my own education because I wanted to do it right. I wanted to
Yeah.
know what I was doing, and also feel like I brought that professionalism to my clients.
Mhm.
There's so many people in this industry that just say, "I'm a florist," and, I think that it's great, and then in some ways it hurts the industry a little bit
Yeah.
because, you learn what you need to charge and even things like workflows, but so I invested in my own education.
Yeah.
The first florist I learned with was Tulipina,
Uh-huh.
Kiana Underwood, who has remained a friend, um, 10 years ago, and I've been able to go freelance with her in, like, Italy and cool places, but,
Right. That
um
that's brilliant. Investing and working with somebody who you really admire, who then becomes like they're a rock star in their own right, and you can continue that relationship as a freelancer. That's
Yes,
benefiting your clients and your students.
right. And then I practice. That's the biggest thing is like I tell people you can come to my workshop and spend a day, but if you don't go home and practice, take it apart. Even Jamie, who works with me, she's become a really excellent designer because she has practiced like no one I've ever met. She'll make a centerpiece, take it apart and do it again. And it's that muscle memory.
Yeah.
And so I tell people who are like, well, I want to, how do I figure out what workshop to go to? And my best advice is find someone whose work that you like and see if you can go study with them.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That's probably how a lot of people are following you and finding you. And, the business really has these pillars of growing, designing, and educating. I feel like those all work in harmony together. And, the true definition of a farmer florist is someone who grows what she designs. And I think that you fit right into that. You do have a few caveats on your website. I would encourage people to poke around your website. I spent a lot of time on it this morning, and what really impressed me under your wedding and event tab, which we didn't dive into too much, but your frequently asked questions are amazing, Niki. I mean, you really try to manage expectations, but you're also trying to like address those what could be perceived as complaints or negatives about, why are wedding flowers so expensive, and what makes you different from from a regular flower shop, or what is the investment I have to make? I feel like that's that's part of educating the customer so they value what they're getting from you.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that there's someone for everyone. We're not the right florist for everyone, but I also just try not to promise anything too specific because I find that you just kind of get either pigeonholed or I would never want to let someone down.
Yeah,
So, we don't only use the flowers that we grow here. I can't grow enough to do the size of weddings that we do. So I do source from other local farms. We have a regional wholesaler. I order in from the West Coast because California can grow things that we can't,
right.
and I'm pretty clear about that, and that's just my business model. But yeah, I just would hate to disappoint someone if I promise them something that's not
Right.
available. I only promise that it will be beautiful.
And what about palette? Do you try to promise palette too?
I do, yeah. So
Yeah.
I work more with a palette than specific flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can, it's not even always a floral palette that someone will send me. It could be a textile, a painting, a bouquet, from any other designer or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'll say, well, tell me what you like about this. Is
Mhm.
it is it the flower? Is it the shape of it? Is it the abundance? And we will get a little bit into specific flowers, but honestly, not too much because, I mean, I've had all kinds of crop failures
Yes,
and
you wanna have that insurance policy of not
exactly.
having the panic attack
Yes.
the night before the wedding.
I know, yes.
How big is your farm?
So the property is about 9 acres,
Okay,
but I have just under 3 acres in production.
okay,
So, a lot of that is, I would say about 60% is perennials these days, and then it could be actually pushing like 70%.
wow,
So over the
wow.
years, I really have been leaning more into the perennials, um, really, really kind of focusing our seasons on spring and fall. I'm seeing a lot of flower farmers do that because the summer months are so hot.
Right. I mean, I think that's especially in the South and the Southwest and, across even, Southeast, South, and Southwest, but even, I guess, probably parts of the Midwest, the Plain
Mhm.
States, but in the Northwest, I don't think we're quite there yet. I still think that people can have a July 15th wedding and, not they'll be hot, but the flowers aren't gonna crash on you.
Yeah.
But I do think that your 2 takeaways that I think are helpful for people to consider in terms of just a mature flower farm, over a decade old. You've tried it all, but moving more toward perennials, which is just such a great investment in your body and your like your physical sustainability as a flower farmer, because you're not having as many annuals to grow. 70%, that's really impressive. And then just I think also the seasons, and
Mhm.
you're taking your cue also from your clients and when our clients wanting weddings.
Right. Right.
And then the workshops seem to fill in. So when there aren't weddings, there are workshops.
Yes, and I have to say, if I were to do it all over again, I don't know that I would necessarily choose the business model that I have. I love it and I wouldn't change it now, but it is difficult to kind of juggle it all. To early on I would schedule a workshop on Friday and a wedding on Saturday, and
Right.
it's
What
just
are you
like,
thinking?
oh my gosh, I was
Yeah.
exhausted. And so now we really try to either do weddings or workshops. But when we're hosting workshops, like, the farm has to keep moving forward. My wedding clients still need attention. So I feel really split a lot of times
Yeah.
because I'm always thinking like a month ahead, but I
Yeah.
also have to be thinking about what's available this week. It's just a whole big puzzle. And I have a good system now,
Yeah.
but there are some times where I think, should I just do one thing?
I don't know. I think it's a little too late for that for now,
I
but
think so.
maybe in the future. We've got to wrap up. But before we do, and I don't want to not ask you about this wonderful tab, Horses and Flowers, on your website. Please tell me about that. And when did horses move into your life? I just I think it's so beautiful. Here, I'm going to put the photo up on the screen so people can see what's going on with this Horses and
Yes.
Flowers experience. And look at you with your one of your horses. I love it.
Yes, the black one is my horse, the one on the left is a friend's. It's truly just a way to combine my loves. I grew up riding horses. They were a big part of my life until my 20s, when I was leading outdoor education trips. In my 30s, I was building this business, and I dabbled a little bit. And really, it's been one of the ways in the last like 5 years I feel like I've come back to myself
Mm.
as Niki and beyond just flower Niki. And so I'm always looking for a business angle, and while I can't completely write off my horse expenses, it's a fun way to like just the horses don't live here on the farm, but they live like 5 minutes away. And so
Okay.
we'll bring them over. People can just hang out with the horses. We can make those like flower wreaths. And
Collars, yeah.
yeah, it just kind of brings to it's a very personal project, but it has resonated with people because I think a lot of people love horses, and there definitely seems to be a lot of like horse energy around these days, I think.
Well, you're calling them soulful animals, and that makes me know your relationship with your horses. You said it's a one of a kind experience about more than just taking pictures. It's about being surrounded by nature and connecting with a soulful animal in a place that feels a little like magic. So these are small groups, experiences where uh, under 5 people or under can come and just they could do photography or they could just have a gathering around the horses. I just think it's
Mhm.
so charming. What's your horse name?
Her name is Freya.
Freya, okay.
Mhm.
And so you bring her back to your own property and have a little setup where people can kind of like, do people bring their children or is it
We have had like families come, friend groups, or like bridal
I
portraits.
see, yeah.
And they can pick flowers. They can just graze the horses, pet them. My horse Freya loves the green, the really green fresh grass here. She has no competition from the other horses. But
Like, and stay
sometimes
at the farm.
it's hard to get her to pay attention. Actually, like, no, I need you to lift your head up for a picture.
I love it. Well, I love that you are reclaiming the Niki horseback rider that you loved when you were younger, and um, it's just really inspiring to see, like, a lot of people return to something that they have neglected for years, like playing the piano or
Mhm.
ballet. Or I love that you've brought horses back into your life and that Freya is there, because that's just makes me feel like you're putting yourself and your own, like, your own sustainability as a
Mhm.
priority along with this demanding business.
It's so important. I mean, people talk about burnout, but it's real. I mean, it's very this is a there's always something to be done. We work most weekends. I could just work endless hours, but I do feel like I've been able to work more normal hours the last few years. And so having something, it takes me off the farm, and it just I do something different. I'm experienced, but I'm not an expert horsewoman, and so
Yeah.
I get to also be a student and a learner and just enjoy it. It's really I can't stress enough how having something for yourself as a business owner is it's
It's a
important.
it's a beautiful thing. Niki, thank you so much for visiting with me today and just bringing people back up to speed on all that's happening at Flourish Flower Farm. I do hope I get out to see you. Let's put something on the calendar,
Yes,
maybe this
please.
fall. Um, in the meantime, have a wonderful season. And there are a lot of open workshops and there's coaching, and I'll put all those links in our show notes so people can reach out to you. I love that you coach people by video if they can't get on a plane and travel across the country. So uh, what I what I appreciate the most is you meet people where they are, and that's why you're so popular as an instructor and as a venue. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for having me back.
You bet. Take care.